Hi everyone, my name is Stacy Alberton and I'm here to talk about The 7 Hidden Reasons Employees Leave by Lee Branham and how this relates to my current employment. I am the manager of an FBO here in Minot, North Dakota called AvFlight. And under our previous management, we had a constant turnover rate. So since I've been in charge, I've been able to slow that down and stop that, but I want to make sure that it stays that way. I want to make sure that I keep good employees and that this is a rewarding job and a fun place to work. So this book I thought would be helpful for me to ensure that I stay on the right track and stop the endless turnovers that are happening or were happening. So I'm just gonna go over some highlights of the book of what I thought was helpful for my situation, what I found eye-opening. As you can see, I've bookmarked a lot, but I don't plan on telling you about all of it. The number one reason that employees leave is not due to pay, which is a common misconception. It is because the job or the workplace was not what was expected by the employee. There's some warning signs that you can be aware of. They're pretty obvious ones too, like your employees change in their demeanor or they stop making eye contact with you, things like that. So what we can do as managers is to make sure when we're in the hiring process that we have realistic job previews so that we're telling employees who come in exactly what they'll be doing and there's no fluff in there or nothing misleading to just get them to come and work for you. Also, to use your current employees and hire from their recommendations. And I've found this one to be extremely helpful, and those employees end up being my best ones, the ones that were referred by another coworker, because they've already heard probably the worst of what happens at your job because they talk to their friend that already works there and they're still like, yeah, let me sign up. So that comes back to that realistic job preview. And then you need to make sure you conduct a thorough and good interview. And this is where I lack experience. I do not enjoy hiring that much. And I don't have a lot of experience in it. So this is something I realize that I need to practice and become good at it and make sure that when I do interview, I'm doing it thoroughly, I'm doing a good job, and I'm not just trying to get through it. The second biggest reason that employees leave is because there's a mismatch between what the person wants to do or what they're capable of and what the job actually is. So there's a mismatch between the job and the person. So what that means for me at AvFlight, since we fuel airplanes, it's pretty common that that's what we do, but sometimes people get in there and maybe they're not great at that, but we have other smaller aspects of the job that I need to focus on, the ones that stand out that are good at quality assurance or safety or something like that, to make sure I'm putting those people into positions that they're good at and that match what they do, or what they're naturally good at, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The next reason that they have is because they don't receive enough feedback or coaching about their position. This is something I've realized from under our previous management was a huge problem, and that I've already made corrections, but this book just reinforced that those were the correct corrections to make and to stay on that path, is to make sure that my employees are getting positive feedback, that if they do need to be corrected, that it's done in a constructive way and not in a negative way that makes them feel bad or like they don't want to do their job, like they're not good enough. And then to make sure that our training program is adequate so as not to just throw somebody into the fire and let them run wild. The next reason on my list from this book is that there's too few growth opportunities or advancement. This is also something I've been working towards. We do have some open leadership positions, and I do have the ability to create leadership positions for people who deserve them and who would like to move forward. So that's something I'm working on, focusing on at Aflac Mina, is to make sure that the people who want to advance have the opportunity to. And plus, Aflac is a growing company that's nationwide. So if I have the right person that wants to advance, making sure that I get their name out there to corporate so that they do have the opportunities to grow and do what they want to do, it makes them happier, it makes them more likely to stay, and it makes them work harder for me here in Minot. The next reason that I have on my list is that employees, when they feel devalued or unrecognized, they will disengage and want to leave. That comes back to the positive reinforcement and the coaching and the feedback, and make sure that they know how hard I see that they're working, to make sure that they know and feel appreciated. And I do this on a regular basis. So that was good for me to see, is that this is something that I'm doing correctly, that I need to stick with, is to make sure that I'm giving positive feedback to each employee, not just to one or two, the ones that are like louder, tend to stand out more, to make sure I'm going to each employee at different times in a sincere way and letting them know that they're valued, that I need them, that they're needed, and that their position is one that I appreciate. And then the next one is when they feel stressed from overwork and like a work-life imbalance. So this one, I don't have a lot of stuff that I can do. I don't have a lot of stuff that I can do for it, except to be an open leader, so that if someone is having problems outside of the job, that they can come to me and talk to me. I do have I'm pretty flexible with my employees as long as they're honest. I do understand that family is important, and I completely believe that. I try not to overwork my employees. Right now with the COVID-19 going on, there's actually not enough work going around. However, I do try to make sure that people get time off and that we're staffed appropriately. And that's another reason I chose this book, is once this COVID-19 is over and I have to start hiring again, I want to make sure that we get a good staff, I get people who are going to stay and people that want to work, and that the workplace is actually someplace fun, like somewhere they want to be. And I do believe Aflac has opportunities for employees, so I want them to see that. And that starts with me being good at hiring, making sure that they have good feedback, and everything that we've discussed so far. The next one is a loss of trust and confidence in senior leaders. So under our previous management, that happened quickly. I'm not going to say his name or go into bashing. He wasn't a very good leader. He wasn't a good manager. And it reflected in our turnover rate. It reflected in the attitudes and the entire feeling, culture, demeanor of everyone at work. It wasn't a good place to work. And I have made progress there, positive progress. And I know that comes from me letting my employees know, hey, you're doing a great job. I couldn't be where I am without you. What can I do to help you? Those kind of things. And it was nice to read that in that sense, I'm doing those things correctly, and that's going to be helpful. So for me, those are just a few of the things that I found that are extremely helpful in this book. If anyone's in management and you're responsible for hiring, I suggest you read this. It's got great insights. It gave me ideas on what to improve on, things to stick with, and things that I'm doing right. Some of it was just instinct that I did, but it was nice to know that what I'm doing is actually been proven effective and it does work. So with that, I'll sign off. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.